Niger Republic's junta last week severed ties with Nigeria and France, its former colonial ruler, Togo, and the United States. Spokesperson for the coup leader, General Abdurrahmani Chiani, Colonel Major Amadou Abdurrahman, made the pronouncement during a national broadcast on Thursday. The development came as Nigeria's president and ECOWAS chairman, Bola Tinubu, dispatched a delegation led by former military head of state, General Abdulsalam Abubakar, to Niger Republic to explore channels for a possible resolution of the diplomatic dispute, which arose from last week's military takeover in the West African country. In the meantime, the clock continues to tick towards the end of a 7-day deadline given to Niger's coup leaders by ECOWAS to reverse the coup and reinstate the government of President Mohamed Bazoum. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate on Saturday rejected a request by President Bola Tinubu for an approval to embark on an immediate deployment of troops in Niger Republic. The upper chamber of the National Assembly advised President Tinubu, who is chairman of ECOWAS, to further explore political and diplomatic options available to them over the use of any military action to resolve the crisis in Niger Republic. The senators condemned the forceful takeover of power in Niger and resolved to engage more with President Tinubu on the political situation in that country. Tinubu had in its letter intimated the Senate about resolutions reached by a meeting of ECOWAS heads of state and government. Part of that resolution included the closure of all land borders with Niger Republic, imposition of a flight ban, cutting off of electricity supply, and stopping goods in transit to Niger from Lagos and another eastern seaport. The senator, however, stated that the president had not sought approval to go to war with Niger. They merely solicited for support for the implementation of the resolutions of ECOWAS. Professor Usman Yusuf is a professor of hematology, oncology, and bone marrow transplantation. Critically, he has played an extensive role in interfacing on behalf of the Nigerian government with several groups of non-state actors operating out of swaths of ungoverned spaces between Nigeria and Niger Republic. He joins us now on This Day Live. Good to have you, Professor Usman Yusuf. Thank you for joining us on This Day Live, the Sunday Talk Show.
Thank you, Ruben, for having me.
Okay, Prof, I read a piece you wrote, I think that was yesterday or 2 days ago, titled War on Niger Republic Will Be War on Northern Nigeria. And in that piece, you expressed the same sentiments expressed by senators from those 7 states bordering Niger Republic in the northern part of Nigeria, Sokoto, Kebbi, Katsina, Zamfara, those 7 states. And they are saying a declaration of war in Niger against Niger would put those 7 states at risk. Nigeria, of course, sharing over 1,000 square meters, 1,000 square kilometers, about 999 miles of border with Niger. But why do you think an attack on Niger, in line with ECOWAS resolution, will amount to an attack on northern Nigeria? The territories are distinct.
Right. Right. I saw the piece before we started. I am really shocked. The primary responsibility of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is to Nigeria and not to ECOWAS. He answers to us. He's not even addressed Nigerians and justify what he's going to do. He's gone to the Senate to ask for approval. That's no way to declare war. It's not easy declaring war. You're sending your men and women into harm's way to go and get killed and kill. I've said it clearly from the outset of that piece I wrote. I am not into political correctness. We in the North, we are tired of wars. We have been at war for 13 years, for 14 years now with Boko Haram, since 2009, and 9 years with bandits and kidnappers. And you're bringing a fresh war to us? And we share with Niger Republic, long before the creation of these 2 entities, Niger and Nigeria, we have shared heritages in our culture, in our religion, in our languages. We share a border over 1,000 kilometers from the northwesterly end in Kebbi to the northeasterly end in Borno. We have Zabarmas in Nigeria and Niger. We have Hausas. They are the predominant tribe in Niger, 53%. We have Fulanis. We have Kanuris. The whole of Diffa region around the northeast of Nigeria, they are Kanuris. So we're going to war and killing them for what? Before any president goes to war, he comes and explains to his people, these are the reasons why I'm going to war. What are the strategic importance, economic, security, or political strategic importance of going to war? What are the self-interests of that country in going to war? The people who are going to war on their behalf, the Western world, France and the United States, they know what their interests are. Their strategic interest is not the people of Niger or Nigeria, but what is underneath the soil of Niger and Nigeria.
Prof, well, is this really about ethnic identity?
Go ahead.
Is this about ethnic identity? The president approached the Senate as stated in Section 5 of the Constitution, because the president of Nigeria cannot go to war without the approval of the National Assembly at a joint session. Or he may not he may just seek the consent of the National Defense Council and send troops on limited combat duty. But he was talking specifically about resolutions of ECOWAS. He's chairman of ECOWAS, and Nigeria is a signatory to the Constitutive Act of ECOWAS on coups and military interventions in the region.
Right. So he's sounding like he's answerable more to ECOWAS than to Nigerians. We in Nigeria, 78% of the landmass of Nigeria, 7 states, and 19 states in this country are saying no to an unprovoked war with Niger. It's not ECOWAS. His primary responsibility is to Nigerians, not to ECOWAS. He's not convinced us why he should send boots to the ground in Niger Republic. And for goodness sake, where are you going to get the troops from? The Nigerian military is stretched all across, deployed all across the 36 states of this country. Where is he going to get the troops from? Is he going to pull troops from the northwest, or the northeast, or the southeast? The only place there is some leeway is the southwest. And that will be a small number of troops. And he should be very, very careful. That is what I wrote there. He's going to do the bidding of the Western world. The fight in Niger is not our fight. It is going to be a proxy war between Russia and NATO. And this is what concerns me the most. We have been surrounded by countries now where you're having this proxy war between these two countries. And we're going to do their bidding. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not even settled down. He doesn't even have his team, and he's declaring war without consulting the people, without the consent of the people.
Okay.
No, we say no to war, and we're not going to support any war.
Okay, I get your point. You had a number of recommendations, one of which is that diplomacy should be the best option. Where that diplomacy, as ECOWAS chair, President Tinubu had liaised with President Patrice Talon of Republic of Benin. He was the first person to go there. President Idris Deby of Chad was also sent there. The chief of air staff of Nigeria and former governor of Katsina State, Aminu Masari, and one other were also sent there. They didn't make progress. Only this week, General Abdulsalami Abubakar and the Sultan were also sent, as a delegation, as part of a delegation, to talk to the coup leaders. In fact, they were not even granted the audience. So that diplomatic option has been pursued. It has failed. Are you suggesting that if the other ECOWAS chiefs, ECOWAS presidents, now that their army chiefs have met, if they decide to go ahead, Nigeria should just pull out? How would that make us look?
No, I'm saying if they decide to go, that will be wrong decision. And if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu takes the decision as the chairman of ECOWAS to go to war, he's doing that on his own.
No, but I'm saying that it's
We
not
are
a
not doing
unilateral,
it for
it's not a
him.
unilateral
No.
decision.
No.
It's a group decision.
No. Nigeria, no. Nigeria is Nigeria. And he is governing 200 million people. We have to give him approval to do that, even if he's the chairman of ECOWAS. The president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is more relevant to us than being the chairman of ECOWAS. We that know are telling him things that his advisors will not tell him, that going to war, sending troops into Niger Republic will be a disaster, unprovoked. We have had our own share of military takeovers in Nigeria. Nobody sent troops to us. What of Mali? What of Guinea? What of Burkina Faso? What of that Chad? That was the place where the French president was there babysitting the current president. Nobody sent troops there. We need to be very, very careful. It's their internal problem, and we should be able to help them. And the reason why we are saying negotiations do not help, at the very beginning, you are putting on the table the threat of violence, the threat of force, and you're asking the other party to listen to you. You have brought your last trump card at the very beginning. That's no way to do it. And it's showing the inexperience of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the international scene. He's not been properly advised. He does not have his team to advise him properly. You do not do that. Okay, let's say you roll in your tanks, if you have them, into Niger Republic. What do you do? What do you do? You install Bazoum by force and you stay there and keep him by force? We have seen the United States going to Iraq, going to Afghanistan, saying they are going to bring democracy. Where are they now? We need to be very, very, very careful. Military option is not the option. We have to. My recommendations are, first of all, take that threat of violence off the table, because that is what is making them more entrenched into their positions. That's why they refuse to see our elders. You are saying you're going to hit them and you're going to talk to them. Why are you here then? Take the threat of violence off the table. Start serious and sincere negotiation. And most importantly is, how are you going to help them solve this problem, which is an internal problem? By solving this problem is that, how are we going to do it? What is going to happen to Bazoum? The safety of Bazoum and his family must be paramount. What is going to happen after that? What do Nigerians want? Do we want this military for how long? How can we pressure, the ECOWAS and the international community, pressure the junta to have a timetable to transition to a democratic rule as soon as possible, without the threat of violence? And essentially, ECOWAS has declared war. They have closed borders. They have closed airspace. They have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu unilaterally broke the treaty between Nigeria and Niger that was signed in 1960, that Nigeria will be supplying Niger Republic with electricity. Nigeria currently supplied 70% of electricity to Niger Republic. In exchange, Niger Republic will not dam River Niger upstream. If they dam River Niger upstream, we'll all be dry. We won't have Kainji Dam. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu unilaterally, without